Hey Rowie.
Hey Caitlin.
And Birdie.
Hey Bruce.
Hey, how do I know if an exercise or nutritional plan is safe and beneficial?
That's a really great question, and how much controversial and contradicting information is there out there about safe exercise versus dodgy exercises and good diets versus bad ones, or even a better question, is there a good diet, or how do I eat and how would I know? How do I exercise and how do I know? And if you ask 10 personal trainers or 10 exercise physiologists or 10 doctors, is it possible that you'll get different information from all of them about how to eat and how to exercise? So how do I know what's going to work for me? How do you know what's going to work for you? And what if there was a special system that you could run something through, anything through, and work out whether it was going to work for you? So I call it the Smarties Principle. And if you're from Australia or New Zealand, there's a really cool chocolate little lolly and it's all bright colours called Smarties. And the Smarties Principle is designed to make sure that you can eat what you love and exercise the way that's going to suit you. So Smarties, S stands for, logically, something I can stick to for the rest of my life. Doesn't matter how good a diet is or how good an exercise program is, if you don't do it, it won't work. So if you have a look at the way an exercise program is presented to you or what you have to do, or if you have a look at an eating plan and if you can't stick to that for the rest of your life, is it possible that it's going to set you up to fail? And is it also possible that we've tried lots of things and even if we thought they were great, they didn't work, we felt like a failure, and then we have a bounce back or a binge effect where we don't eat what we want to eat for a long time, and then we have more of it than we need to. So ask yourself the question, is this something I can stick to for the rest of my life? So that's S. M stands for moderation. And if anything's to the extreme, so it's too really easy or too hard, is it possible again that you won't stick to it? So what's moderation for you? So there might be people that tell you that you have to run 10 kilometres every day, and that might be awesome for you, but that might seem like a ridiculous amount of exercise for you. So how about work out what's going to be something you can stick to for the rest of your life because it's in moderation for you. The next one is achievable. If something isn't achievable, you can't do it, then you can't stick to it, so it won't work. So is this going to be achievable for you? And a great question to ask is, what is this diet expecting me to do? What's this exercise program expecting me to do? And can I actually do it? So once again, if 10-kilometre run is not something that you can do right now, well, why would we even bother starting? But if there's an exercise program that says perhaps get sprinting or do something that you love to do, when I say sprinting, I'm not talking about running sprinting, anything that gets you puffed. If you do something for 10 seconds, there's a really short period of time, is it possible that you might actually do it? And if you get puffed, then you get fit, and if you get fit, then you get fitter and you want to do more. So it becomes achievable because you started with something easy and short. Same with eating. It might be a simple change like drink more water or eat one piece of vegetable every day or aim to have at least one healthy meal throughout the week, which at the moment, if 5 meals are unhealthy or all of your meals are unhealthy, then that could be achievable for right now. So can you stick to it for the rest of your life? Is it in moderation? Is it achievable? Is it realistic? And again, that goes back to, can I do this for the rest of my life? Is it realistic for your lifestyle, for the hours that you work, for the number of children that you've got, for the house that you live in, the kitchen that you've got? A lot of eating plans are designed where you have to cook all this stuff and you don't even have a house or the utensils to do that. So the question, a really important question is this realistic for me to do for the rest of my life so that I can actually achieve it? So see how they all kind of work together. So something I can stick to, is it in moderation? Is it achievable? Is it realistic? Is it time efficient? Is it possible that if something takes too long, that even if you start it, you might not keep doing it? And even if you're the person right now who loves to exercise for long periods of time, or you love to chop up all your food and cook for hours and hours, is it possible that there may come a time in your life where you are too busy to do that? So do we want to start with the stuff that really takes a long time to do, or what is the shortest amount of time I need to exercise to get fit and strong, and what's the shortest amount of time I need to prepare healthy food rather than the longest? So could time efficient be a really good question to ask? Is this time efficient for my lifestyle? The next two are really important. Interesting, and enjoyable? If it's boring and if you don't like it because it's not enjoyable, is it possible again that you won't stick to it for the rest of your life? So ask yourself the question, will I enjoy this? And it might be that you won't enjoy it, but it's only short. And that's one of the examples I always use, brushing your teeth. It's not particularly exciting and it's not particularly enjoyable, but the outcome or the result is awesome because it gives you clean, fresh mouth and healthy teeth. But we never ask people to brush their teeth for half an hour or 45 minutes or an hour. It's just short and sharp. So you brush your teeth, you feel good. So what if you found an exercise program that even if it wasn't really interesting, exciting and enjoyable to you right now, if it was short, is it more likely to be something that you'll stick to? So interesting and enjoyable could be, and I always ask exercise professionals to ask you this question: does this person want to do the exercise? Do they like to run? Do they like to ride a bike? Do they like to swim? Do they like to go to the gym? And if you're a person that doesn't want to go to the gym, or you never want to run, or you never want to ride a bike, how stupid to do an exercise program that includes those things. So ultimately, to get fit and get strong, that will change your life, of course. To get fit, you've got to get puffed, and to get strong, you've got to overload your muscles and bones. And your heart and lungs and your muscles and bones are blind. They don't know whether you're riding a bike or whether you're swimming in the pool or whether you're doing a martial art or you're dancing in a nightclub or you're running with your puppy dogs in the park. So if you get puffed, you'll get fit. If you overload your muscles and bones by lifting something, now whether you lift a dumbbell, a barbell, a kettlebell, a puppy dog, a child, a box of books, a big bottle of water, a wheelbarrow full of rocks, it doesn't matter. Your muscles and bones don't know. So if you find it more interesting and enjoyable to be out in the park than you do in the gym, if you find it more interesting and enjoyable to be in the garden lifting rocks and logs rather than being in the gym, then it doesn't matter. So what do you love to do? What's interesting and enjoyable for you? Or even a more fun question, if you say to me, I hate all exercise, I hate everything, I might ask you this question: what is the thing that you hate the least? So we need to find something that you don't hate, but even if you hate it, what's the one out of biking and running and going to the gym and going to the park and dancing and doing a martial art and playing sport? Out of all of those, which one do you hate the least? Because we want to get you fit and strong so that you feel good. Your body's a fat-burning machine, a food-burning machine. You feel good all the time and you can do all the things that you want to do. How about come to the park and hang out with your family? Wouldn't that be awesome? And wouldn't it be sad if you didn't have the energy to do that? So interesting and enjoyable. And the last one is really simple, science. We used to say it needs to be based on science, but I've changed that to include common sense. Because if it doesn't make sense to you, it's probably nonsense. And there's a lot of exercises you can look at them and you go, yeah, that's nonsense. That doesn't look like what the human body should do. Or you might look at a diet and go, that's nonsense. To eat that just doesn't make any sense to me. And the challenge we've got with science is there's a lot of argument with the scientists. There's some people that say that you should be a vegan vegetarian, some people say that you should be a carnivore, there's everything in between. Some people say you should exercise every day, some people say that you should exercise once a week. There's an argument about how many you should do and how many sets you should do and what exercises are good and bad, and they're all scientists disagreeing. So how about this? What makes common sense for you? Can you stick to it for the rest of your life? Is it in moderation? Is it achievable? Is it realistic? Is it time efficient? Is it interesting? Is it enjoyable? And does it make sense to you? And if it doesn't fit into that, all of those, here's a great question. Is it possible that you won't then do it? And if you don't do it, it won't work. So it doesn't matter what new diet comes on the market, doesn't matter what new piece of exercise equipment comes up on 1 o'clock in the morning television, doesn't matter what expert pops up on your social media, rather than just believe people and go, oh, I'm going to try that. What if it doesn't work and then you feel like a failure? So run it through the Smarties Principle and work out for yourself whether this is something that you can do for the rest of your life. Once you know that an exercise program is something that is smarty for you, so you can stick to it for the rest of your life, it's in moderation, it's achievable, it's realistic, it's time efficient, it's interesting and it's enjoyable, and it's based on common sense, logic, and some science. What about the actual exercise? How do you work out which exercise is going to be best for you? And most importantly, is it safe? Because obviously if you're injured, if your joints are broken, if anything is sore, you're very unlikely to stick to your exercise program. So there's some big questions to ask. And the first one is, what result do you want to get from your exercise? Is it for fat loss? Is it for muscle gain? Is it for energy? Is it for looking good in your clothes? Is it to achieve a certain result for your sport or your hobby? What do you want to get from this exercise program? And should you be able to demand some things from your exercise program? If you're going to exercise, should you be able to demand from it, I'm going to have a stack of energy. I'm going to perform at my best regardless of what the exercise program is all about or what you want to do. There's something that you need to perform your best at. So whether it is your sport or your martial art or your parenting or your job or whatever it is that you love to do, would it be important to be able to perform at your best? Woohoo! The next one is, from an exercise program, should you be able to demand that you look good in and out of your clothes? And the last one, should it give you the results, the outcome that you want? So number 1 is a stack of energy. Number 2 is performance. Number 3 is you look good in and out of your clothes. And number 4 is you're getting the results that you want. So there's a great demand from an exercise program. The next thing is, once you know what it is that you want it to achieve for you, is it safe? The most important part of exercise is it doesn't hurt you, it doesn't injure you today, tomorrow, in a month's time, or 10 years' time. Because if your joints are broken, you obviously can't exercise. So we want to analyse an exercise to see if it's going to hurt your joints. And the best way to do that is to have a look at where the pressure's going. And there's 2 things that are going to happen. There's going to be a compression force or a traction force through your joint, or there's going to be a shearing force across the joint. So when gravity's pushing down, where is the pressure going? So if I do a jump squat, for instance, or if I squat, or if I push, or if I pull, I've now got gravity pushing down on my body. But if I do this movement, for example, I now have gravity pushing down on my joint, which is across my joint. So I'm going to get shearing forces across my elbow. If I do this kind of a movement, which is of course not functional, because if I wanted to pick up my little dog, I would bend down and pick him up. He's going to sit there because he likes that spot. I'm not going to kick him up. And of course, if I'm in that position, I've now got gravity going down across my knee, and I'm going to get shearing forces across the knee as I'm exercising. Nobody wants that. Another really interesting one is if I do this movement on the ground. Now, I would never get on the ground, because why would you exercise on the ground? Humans, we're upright creatures. We need to be in the upright position. So if an exercise puts you on the ground, you've really got to ask why. I'm not a snake, I'm not a lizard, I'm not a crocodile. I'm a human being who functions best in the upright position. And really interestingly, a lot of the exercises on the ground are all about this core position. These are my abdominal muscles, my lower back muscles. Well, they work together to hold you in the upright position so that you can do all the big exercises to get the big results. Now, the crazy thing is, when you're on the ground doing this, you've now got shearing forces going across your spine. And you might not get injured today or tomorrow or in 6 months' time, but for somebody like me who started doing thousands and thousands of sit-ups and crunches when I was a little girl because I thought it was a way to burn fat off my tummy, unfortunately now I have a worn-away disc between L4 and 5 from doing too many sit-ups, which means I'm really in a challenge position when it comes to being able to do functional exercise in my life, to be able to exercise hard. So please don't do that to yourself, please don't do that to anybody else, and exercise has to be safe. So always analyse it by, what do I need to get from this exercise, and is it safe for every joint in my body? So we want to look at the shearing forces or traction forces versus, the compression forces and traction forces versus shearing forces. We definitely don't want any shearing forces. The next question to ask is it functional? If you look at an exercise and it looks like it's not something you would do in real life, it's probably not something you would do in real life, and it's probably silly. I know that the exercise people, the personal trainers, there's lots of different classes and lots of different fitness instructors who'll give you all sorts of exercises that look amazing, but they don't have anything to do with real life. So could it be a really good idea to analyse an exercise, even not from a sporting perspective or from a hobby perspective, but will this exercise keep my body in the right position to keep me safe so that I don't injure myself getting while I'm exercising. So if you've got a sport that's likely to injure you, so you could, if you play netball, you get a sore knee. If you play cricket, you get a sore back or shoulder. If you play rugby league or rugby union or any kind of football, you might get sore back, sore knees, sore shoulders. We don't want to do that in our exercise program. So really important that when you exercise safely and functionally of how the body works, not how your life works. Because if you are fit, strong, every muscle, every bone, every ligament, every tendon, then you can go play rugby league, then you can go box, then you can go do CrossFit, then you can go and climb mountains and do crazy stuff with your body because you'll have a fit, strong body that can do it. So number one for an exercise program, what do I want to get from it? Number two, is it safe? Number three, is it functional? Number four, is this the best exercise? There's plenty of exercises, and there's plenty of people that will tell you this is a great exercise to do, but do you want a second best exercise or a fifth best exercise, or do you want the best one? A lot of people talk about variation. I get bored, so I don't want to do this exercise all the time. But if it's the best exercise, would it be a really good idea? Because obviously your exercise program doesn't need to be long. It needs to be short and fast so you stick to it for the rest of your life. And if it's the best exercise and it's going to give you the best results, always ask the outcome. So I'll ask those 4 questions again. Number one, will I get the best amount of energy from this exercise program? Number two, will I perform at my top level? Will I look good in and out of my clothes? Is number three. And number four, what results do I want to get? And what are the best results I can possibly get? So why would I choose a second best exercise? So it's a pretty simple process. Smarties Principle. Can I stick to this for the rest of my life? Is it in moderation, achievable, realistic, time efficient, interesting and enjoyable? Is it based on common sense and science? Then the 4 questions, will it give me a stack of energy? Will I perform at my best? Will I look good in and out of my clothes? And will I get the results that I want? And then ask the question, is this exercise safe? Is it functional? Is it the best exercise? And will I get the best results that I want? And there's plenty of things to do. This is a magnificent gym and a magnificent place to exercise. But let's pick the best exercises. So the ones that don't put shearing forces across the joint, we want compression forces and traction forces. So when I come to train at this beautiful, amazing gym, I'm going to do some chin-ups, I'm going to do some dips and some push-ups, I'm going to do some squat jumps and squats, and I'll have worked every single muscle in my body in a really short period of time. So pick something safe, pick something short, pick something that you can stick to for the rest of your life, and get the results that you want from your exercise program. Woohoo!